Hey, the QLZ Green Room. This has been a very busy room over the last month since I've only been here in Springfield a couple of months, and we're talking with Damon today. Damon, you're the one of the guitarists and one of the vocalists of Virtue. I knew I was going to do that. It's kind of like From Ashes to New because we're playing their new one right now, and I'm like new music from Ashes to New, and I was like, I'll do the same thing with these guys, dude. It's nice to meet you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing today?
Good. So you guys have a new song out called Cannibals right now. Just released a couple of weeks ago. The video's been out a few weeks, and we're telling you I do a feature here called the Artist Spotlight. It's really newer bands, up and coming bands we want people to know more about. We do this at 8:30 in the morning, nice and morning drive. And I said, I saw your hoodie, For the Fallen Dreams, and I'm like, oh, I'm talking to somebody of them on Wednesday, and you're like, dude, I'm in both bands. So kind of, you told me you work second and third shift sometimes. You're in two bands, dude. How do you balance everything?
Uh, just try to sleep as much as I can. And just, a lot of prep work, a lot of just trying to save up. And it's kind of nice right now because both of the bands, like, they kind of operate on like separate schedules. When one is off, the other one is on, and vice versa. So it keeps me busy, especially after everything with COVID and everything else, where it's like, you go from touring half of the year, a little over half of the year, to literally just working, and it's like, ugh, I can't do that again. So
Being on the road a lot more fun.
absolutely, and just more rewarding. I
Yeah.
feel like it's the best, showcase of the skills that we've worked on over the years. And again, it was one of those times where I'm like, ugh, it was very uncertain, but now we're back in full swing, and
Mhm.
I barely sleep. So hey.
Hey, we're back to playing shows. Like I work morning drive here, so it's being up at 4:30 in the morning now, and it's like if concerts come through Springfield or something's nearby, it's like, okay, we didn't have concerts for like 2 years. It's going to be worth it to go to a show, get back at midnight, and get about 4.5 hours of sleep because it's
Absolutely.
back. So, which is exciting. So again, man, you guys have a new song out called Cannibals, the Artist Spotlight. We've got it on this Thursday on 420, 8:30 in the morning. And I always kind of like to get something, from the song, whatever you want to share about it, what inspired it, how the song came together. Just something that, I always love sharing a little clip of the song or about the song before we actually play it in the morning. So Damon, what do you want to share about Cannibals? It's a fun video, which I want to dive into as well.
Oh man. On the song side, like lyrics, music, and all that cool
Yeah.
stuff, this was one. It was a very, for me and for Tyler, it's a pretty dark song because it's like I've dealt with addiction issues. I kind of still do to a degree. Like I've been sober from alcohol since 2007.
Wow.
And the song is kind of from the point of view of like that realization of when you finally understand what you've been doing, or like what your actions actually cause. Cause like they have that whole like trope of like, when you're drinking, it's not only you that's being affected, it's everybody else as well in your life. And it's like, you don't realize, like, kind of like the manipulative behaviors, or just the lengths that you've gone in the past just to get whatever you want. And then whenever you are drinking or drunk, and it's like, everybody kind of knows that person that's like, you like, uh-oh, they've started doing this. And you're like, oh, jeez. And it's like, it's just going to be a complete shit show.
Mm.
And there's that point where you kinda realize what's going on, but we're gonna be honest where it's like, it's never usually, like, just going straight to light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, I hate myself. I hate everything that I did. I hate all these behaviors. You feel like you deserve to just have everything that you did bad happen to you times 10 in spades, you know what I mean? So it's like, just kind of trying to put that into like a song form or into a visual, something we needed, something very jarring, very, you know, something that people can relate to and people see on a daily basis, but just attribute it to the kind of like darkness that we wanted to have into the song. Hence, having zombies, the walking dead, you know, blood, gore, all that stuff. It's like, what better way than kind of like a pseudo horror movie
Yeah.
style thing, you know what I mean?
And now, at least you guys at least have. I know, like you said, man, the song's dark, the lyrics are dark. It deals with very serious matter. But it seems like when you kind of put a music video together like this, where you and all the guys in the band get taken down, get eaten, I think Tyler's getting dragged away at the very end of the video. Like, how much fun did you guys, at least have doing the video and putting it together?
Oh, the video was insane. Like, it was fun, but it was also very stressful at the same time
Okay.
because that day, so we were shooting in Atlanta, Georgia, and if anybody's familiar with Georgia or just the South in general, when it rains, it does not stop for a while. So it's
Okay.
like where we were shooting at was out kind of in the countryside, and everything was flooded. Like the house that we were shooting in had no electricity, so we were running generators. And you know, our director Scott Hansen, his truck got stuck in the mud. We had to get that out. Um, we couldn't shoot for probably half of the day. So we had like all of, like the extras and everybody else on the crew. We are just kind of like sitting around because we couldn't do anything with no power, no anything else. But we'll call it like a blessing in disguise because when we finally were able to, start getting going, it's like all of the mud, all the chaos, like the dreary gray skies, everything else. It kind of helped the atmosphere of the video because then, even before we shot anything, it's like we're all covered head to toe. We're soaking wet. We have to get put into makeup and everything else. It's just like, it's literally crazy. So it was a very fun time.
Yeah, so check out the video. We do a blog post on each band too for the artist spotlight, so make sure we'll get it in there as well. Are you guys Walking Dead fans? Are you guys following up with all that too? And
so some of the guys are. I personally have never seen it.
Okay.
It's like there's some show like you'll probably, I don't know, depending on how much like television you watch, like the list of things that I've never seen that people, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones,
Okay.
like all those shows, like I've just never seen. I don't have time to watch them really.
Yeah.
So, but I do like zombies, like Evil Dead Rise or whatever that next one that's coming out. I'm excited to see that.
Okay. Now I got to ask you. You mentioned a lot of shows, and I know a lot of people are like, "How have you never seen some of these before?" The only one I really ever do that with is The Office. Have you at least seen some of The Office?
I have, and I don't really care for it personally.
Oh
I know, and honestly, it's probably because I know enough people that,
yeah,
and it's bad to say this, but I know enough people and I have a lot of like really good friends where like The Office is like their personality, if that makes
okay.
sense. And I'm just like, like you guys make me not want to watch this. And then when I do watch it, it's hard to get past like,
Yeah. You've already
like,
seen the show in real life, essentially.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't need to sit down and do it again.
Hey, that's understandable. I can't get upset with you for that one. So again, I mean, you guys got Cannibals out right now. I know you guys had a decent amount of music released 2021 into 2022. What do you guys have coming up for the rest of this year when it comes to, when it comes to shows, when it comes to new music? What do you guys want to release? It's a very general question I'm asking a lot of bands because, the singles game, has just taken over the industry. Like I still love full length records and buying them and everything else. But what do you guys want to do when it comes to releasing some music this year?
I mean, the goal is definitely to put out a full length at some point. The single stuff, because I've talked to people and they have varying degrees or opinions on this. It's like, if you're a band that people are clamoring or like they want a big piece of material to digest at one time, then it makes sense, budget wise, you have to also factor in like what you're going to do to market it and everything else. But, smaller bands like ourselves or anything else like the singles route, it works great to where it's like we can take all of our resources and kind of put them behind individual pieces that, will get a lot of attention, hopefully. And that way, because at least from what I've seen, it's like people kind of consume everything at the same rate. Like, some of my friends that are in, similar size bands or whatever, bigger, smaller, and it's like they put out records and then, they were like, oh, damn, well, the hype, is already died down. And it's like, well, people consume one or two songs the same way they're going to consume 10. So it's like, why not just kind of stagger them out, just keep building them up. And then eventually it'll lead to like, a full project, some more touring. Like for us right now, it's like, we're just more concentrated on getting back onto the road. Like,
yeah.
We have dates coming up. We're going overseas again. We leave, I think, the 20th of June. We'll be gone for about 3 weeks, going over to Europe, doing festivals, doing some club shows. We got a headlining run in the UK. Come back for, I think, couple days, there's a festival in Michigan called Upheaval,
Yeah. Yep.
and we are playing the second day. I think that is Falling in Reverse, Hailstorm. Our headliners, Bring Me and Lamb of God, are headlining the first day. Once we come back from there, go back overseas. So kind of split it up into two parts, doing some cool stuff. There's Summer Breeze Festival, Full Force, a lot of things that, like, you know, they're bucket list items, man.
Yeah.
So from there, and then hopefully by fall, we will have more details on a record, and, you know, kind of keep doing the same thing, trickling stuff out, getting some more US touring. We have a lot of stuff that's gonna get announced here pretty soon. So we in your neck of the woods, have
Awesome.
you come out, fucking hang
Awesome.
out with us. So
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, dude, you guys were a band that, you know, being between radio gigs for a little while. It's interesting because, you know, you want to stay in the know of what's coming out. And I personally love, you know, finding new bands and up and coming bands. It's the whole reason I do the Artist Spotlight feature. And you guys were one of those bands on there. So yeah, dude, you guys get to this neck of the woods. I mean, I'll be out there, you know, at the station. I'll be out there as a fan. Doesn't matter to me. I'll find one way to get out there. Like I said, I'll get minimal sleep if it means getting to a show again. So it's all good. I mean, I know you mentioned Upheaval. We used to have Cadot where I was, Rockfest, where I used to live up in Wisconsin. So it's a lot of the bands from there kind of, I think then they go to Michigan, which is really cool. So Upheaval, you know, seeing some photos and knowing some people up in that area, it always looks like it's a cool festival. So plus, dude, you rattle off probably more shows than anybody else I've ever asked before. I usually ask a lot of people. It's like, it's all on the website and I've memorized. You got everything memorized, dude.
oh, I have to. And that's the thing, is like playing in two bands, it's like I have to try to be as organized and like detailed as possible, because, you know, heaven forbid there's a day where I'm like, I gotta play, you know, a show with FTFD or OV and it's the same thing in two different. I'm like, no, we can't have that happen. So, you know, you got two managers, two schedules, two peoples to figure things out with. So try to stay on top of it as best as I can. And, you know, it's better for me to, you know, give you the straight details, everybody else, because then people, you never know who's going to hear this or not. So it's like, you know, if I just say, hey, go to our website, there's like a 20% chance they might.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
I can just tell them, hey, we're coming to Leeds on the 7th or Grand Rapids on the 15th. And then they're like, sick.
Yeah, that's
Just
awesome,
jot
man.
that
Well, dude, good for you, man. You came in prepared for this one. A question that I've been asking bands. I used to do this as a blog post at my last gig. It was called Favorite Fives, and it was asking bands to share their favorite complete albums. So from start to finish, the albums that you don't skip anything, not necessarily maybe your overall favorite album, but those ones where you're like, I'm putting this album on and nobody touch a damn thing. Nobody hit next. If anybody hits next, you're going to get smacked, and we're going back to the song. So I've started to ask this in interviews over the last week, because it's been fun. I did some testing on it with some bands last week, and Damon, you get to be the next guy. So your favorite complete albums of all time.
Ooh, favorite complete album. I can already
think of.
I can think of three off the top of my brain.
All right.
One be Thrice, Vesu. That's one. Number two, Glassjaw, Worship and Tribute.
Okay.
That's definitely one. So this one is going to be I'm just going to put three albums into one.
Okay.
But this would be Misery Signals, Of Malice in the Magnum Heart, Mirrors, and Controller. So when I listen to them, because I don't listen to them much anymore on like a daily basis, but that's like one of my favorite bands of all time. Like this band would not be here because of them. But when I listen to it, I put all three records into a playlist and just let it rock.
Awesome.
Like, so I got to shove all three of those into just one thing. Let's see. Story of the Year, Page Avenue is definitely one. And then, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of records that kind of fit this. I'm trying to think of stuff that let me look at my. Oh, I was listening to Slipknot the other day.
Okay.
The first two records.
Yeah, one of the guys I interviewed last week, he's like, Iowa. He's like, I wouldn't probably be a drummer if it wasn't for Iowa. And then, like, I interviewed a couple of guys in Under Oath last week, Spencer and Aaron. It's like, they just took over the entire interview, which is perfectly fine. It was just like a 3-minute segment to end the interview of just them ping ponging back and forth off each other, just like, oh, what do you think about this one? They're like, no, that sucks. Oh, no, what about this? It was great, man. So I'm glad, got some testing out of this. It's been a fun question to ask because again, every band I've talked with, the singles game kind of rules, but every band is just like, we understand the business side of it, but there's also the fan aspect of we love full length records. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. And that's the thing is like I love them too. It's just it's hard nowadays where and trying to explain it to people where again, they're like, why, when's the whole thing coming? When is this? It's like, just hold on. Just you gotta keep stringing them along because and the thing is the unfortunate thing, because I love full records, but I also acknowledge at the same time, it's like when I finally get the whole record, it's like most of the time it's gonna be the singles, and then you might get it's basically like kind of like 2 EPs.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll still listen to it, but then you're like your brain is almost kind of shifted to, all right, what's the next thing now? Like, unless it's something, even if it's something that's like monumental, like Sleep Token's doing that for me right now, where like, they have the 5 songs that they've put out, and it's like, I know when they drop the full record, which is coming, I think, pretty soon.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna jam it, but then your brain subconsciously is like, all right, what's the next thing I'm trying to, latch onto, or this, that, and the third. So,
it's a good thing though. I mean, it's like I need more. Like I love it so much. It's kind of like when some songs are like 2.5 minutes, and I'm like, no, I wanted more because I wanted the song. I think it's kind of a good thing where you'd rather want more than be like, okay, you can scale it back a little bit.
Absolutely. Leave them wanting it. If that you're creating that feeling, then you're doing something right with the music. So.
Yeah, exactly. So again, man, Cannibals is the new single out from you guys. The video's out there, so everybody check it out. Artist Spotlight this Thursday, 4/20, 8:30 in the mornings when we got it on. And Damon, before I let you go, man, you rattled off pretty much every show you guys are playing, but where can everybody follow you guys on the socials, buy merch, all that good stuff?
Well, we do actually have a real website, so ofvirtueband.com. But then I'll go through, it's like Facebook, obviously, @ofvirtue, Twitter, @ofvirtue, tweet us with funny stuff, memes, all the good stuff. We love chatting and responding to everybody. TikTok, Instagram, I might be missing something. I can't remember. I don't know how many social medias there are. It's too many. But
there's way more out there now than what there used to be.
Oh yeah, YouTube, anywhere, watch the videos, stream the records. If people are interested, we got some cool merch in our online store. It helps pay some bills too. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that as well.
Hey, all good, man. So Damon, dude, I appreciate the time. It was great meeting you.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for having me.